Greetings, friends, and welcome back once again to our English Flash News edition. As usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host, keeping you updated on the latest happenings here in Tirana. We are pleased to do this in a language that you understand, 6 days a week at 6 p.m. In today's news, on December 16th, the majority and the opposition will be signing an agreement that will put an end to the boycott of the opposition and return them to the parliament. Sources from the European Parliament tell us that on December 16th, which is only 2 days before the last parliamentary session of the year, the European Parliament members Eduard Kukan and Knut Fleckenstein will visit Albania. While here, they will write a joint statement between the Socialist and Democratic parties, and they will guarantee the conditions requested by the opposition. One of the representatives of the opposition stated that both the sides are very close to an agreement. The visit of the two European Parliament members is expected to create a concrete agreement, which will return the opposition to the Parliament in the very last session of this year. This agreement is based on 5 articles, and several of them have been fulfilled already. First, the opposition must be granted the right to create investigation committees. Second, the decisions of the Constitutional Court must be complied with. Third, there must be equal speaking time given to both the Prime Minister and the representative of the opposition. Fourth, a guarantee must be given that the majority will not become an obstacle of justice when deputies are being investigated. Fifth, and most importantly, a law must be passed that prohibits incriminated members of Parliament. The head of the Parliament, Ilir Meta, has held a very important meeting with the Prime Minister to discuss the 5th condition presented by the opposition. After this meeting, Meta released that the majority has expressed willingness to create a law that will prohibit people with criminal records from being Parliament members. However, Meta added that he and the Prime Minister did not speak about the candidacy of Gent Seiko, who has been put forward as the new governor of the central bank. After hearing what the Prime Minister had to say, the head of the Parliament stated that he agrees that it is necessary for the opposition to return to Parliament right away, as there is no more time to waste. He said, "We believe that we have fulfilled all the conditions asked by the opposition, including the one about the investigation committees and the one about the speech time in the Parliament. I would say that this is a unique case in the history of Europe, which is the most democratic continent in the world. I believe that the majority has fulfilled all of the conditions for the opposition to return to its responsibilities," stated the head of Parliament, Ilir Meta. When asked about the new governor of the central bank, the head of the Parliament said that deputies will vote on the decree of the president, but he did not say if the votes of the majority would be in favor or against the candidate. A day ago, the Prime Minister met with the President in order to discuss the new governor of the central bank. After December 15th, healthcare organizations are going to be providing free health examinations to people between the ages of 40 and 65 years old. There will be no financial barriers for anyone, as these examinations will be completely free to all, insurance or no insurance. However, this plan is facing one significant problem, and that is that there is currently a shortage of specialized doctors. There were supposed to be at least 300 more doctors in the country, stated the Minister of Healthcare, adding that the situation will probably not change in the next 8 years. The statistics show that the number of people requesting medical consultations has decreased, largely due to the very high level of bureaucratic procedures in the country. During a meeting with the doctors, the Minister of Healthcare told them that they must be punctual in their work. 900,000 people are expected to take part in these examinations, and there will be a national registry of every disease that is being carried. In order to avoid crowds that the medical system cannot handle, people seeking this free service will be examined during the month that they were born. In positive news, the latest reports are saying that Albania's energy sector is taking a swing for the better. During a statement for the media, the Minister of Energy said that during these last months, the level of revenue in the energy sector has increased greatly. According to him, this is why the ministry has started to pay off its debts to the private hydropower plants. The Minister of Energy stated that during November, losses have decreased by 15.2%, and the level of revenue has increased by 47.2%. The minister made this statement: "The losses in November have decreased a great deal. They are currently measured at about 32.8%. A year ago, the losses were registered at 48%. The progressive average rate of losses during the first 11 months of the year has decreased by 37.8%. In addition, revenue for November has reached a value of 4.8 billion lek, which is 47.2% higher than it was 1 year ago." The Minister of Energy confirmed once again that his institution will pay all the debts that they owe to private hydropower plants. "We owe these power plants nearly 7.9 billion lek, he said. "So far, we have paid 34% of that amount. When April of 2015 comes, we will have paid 100% of our debts," stated the Minister of Energy. The Agency for Urbanization of Informal Structures is working very hard to make sure that compensation is given to those people whose houses and buildings have been demolished. This agency is commonly abbreviated as Aluizni, and the leader of this organization was invited last night to speak on the show Tonight Il Vetare. During his interview, he told us that his institution is working very hard in order to find a solution for the people whose houses are being demolished. "We have presented a few options," he said, "and now the government is working on choosing an idea for compensating these people. We are working hard in order to find a solution to this problem, which is considered to be a social wound," stated the head of Aluizni. Currently in Albania, there are estimated to be 300,000 illegal structures, and only 45,000 of them have been declared. The head of the organization said that December 31st will be the final deadline for declaring illegal structures, if the owners want them to be made legal. Unfortunately for students, the Ministry of Education has announced that they are not going to change their decision on the increase of tuition prices. Despite the protests and the petitions of the students who have objected to the increase of tuition fees, the Ministry of Education has announced that it will not change its decision. This year, the tuition for every degree program has increased by 500 lek per month. The number of teachers has not changed, however. Statistics show that currently in Albania, there is 1 teacher for every 38 students, while the minimum was supposed to be a teacher for every 20 students. The Ministry of Education stated that it will need 500 more teachers during the coming year. The Ministry of Environment has decided to use some of Albania's protected areas to promote the sector of tourism. According to the Ministry of Environment, out of 54 protected areas in Albania, only 4 of them are generating any revenue for the state. The ministry hopes that the new revenue that is generated will be invested to reconstruct some of these areas. Several of Albania's national parks are now going to have entrance fees for the very first time. According to the responsible institutions, Albania will have 20% more green space in 2015. Also during 2015, the National Park of the Alps is expected to be built in Albania. This weekend, audiences are going to be able to enjoy the show The Immigrants, which is going to be presented by the actors of the Gjirokastra Theater. The black comedy The Immigrants addresses the issue of freedom and has 2 main characters. One character is presented as a slave of the state and the other as a slave of money. The show is going to be put on by the theater Kujtim Spahivogli. The director of this show stated that the characters will be called only by their initials, and that this is intentional. The show, The Immigrants, which lasts nearly 1 hour and 15 minutes, will be presented twice at the Theater of Gjirokastra and then in other cities of the South. Lastly, the show will be presented to the people of Kosovo. That is all the news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for watching. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more Albanian news in English, right here on Aura News. Thank you and good night.